We made it. This is the final episode in the Cognitive Functions series, all about introverted intuition, aka NI, that is capital N with the lowercase I, or as Personality Hacker calls it, perspectives. I will explain the function, which Myers-Briggs types use it, and what it means for your style. I'm Rebecca Mielke. As your visual identity guide, I take you on a journey of self-discovery so you can align your inner and outer self, show up confidently, and contribute your gifts to the world. To begin exploring your individuality, I want to invite you to take my free style personality quiz. Find the link in the show description or at my website, signaturestylesystems.com. Okay, introverted intuition defined. This is the function we use to pattern meanings, implications, and probabilities. Meaning, seeing future implications and meditation are all part of what's going on here. It takes a meta perspective and is able to see things from other people's perspectives. It focuses on narratives and it learns by observing patterns within the mind. Introverted intuition tends to be slow and needs time to allow insights to bubble up. This is my second function, and this explains why I choose to work mostly asynchronously. So when we meet up to discover your personality type, that is a Zoom meeting, and I ask you some low-key questions, and you get to talk about how you think. But for the rest of the stops on your style journey and your self-discovery journey, you feed me pictures and information about you, and I need to ruminate on it for a few days before I produce a guidebook of artistic information specific to you. And speaking of slow, I remember when I was little in like early elementary school. So if you want to see a picture of what I looked like then, also my little sister, you can see that on the front page of my website, signaturestylesystems.com. Anyway, I never thought of myself as slow, but apparently other people did. I think I was in first grade when the student teacher came over to my house in the evening to show my parents all the papers I had stuffed into my desk, uncompleted. But here's the problem. They never told me what to do if I didn't finish the work. And in the time allotted, I really didn't understand these people who just raced through things and then turned it in. And for sure, it wasn't because I didn't know the answers. I think I was just a bit of a daydreamer. So anyway, finding out that I had introverted intuition in the second spot has been sort of, yeah, comforting to me to know that like this slow has a good outcome. It's about learning. So communicating NI or introverted intuition visually. So introverted intuition is aware of future probabilities, not like just all the possibilities, but what is likely to happen. And so you could enjoy being on the cutting edge of trends. I think that's kind of a cool way to do this. It's also an imaginative. So you could incorporate like fairy tale or sci-fi elements, those kinds of things to your look. Um, and then you'll always want to be a little bit different, like adding your own flair to more ubiquitous looks. An example would be, I think I've heard of someone who wore Chucks with her suits all the time, or someone else who had like a different pair of really interesting glasses that she wore every day of the week, but then her clothes were more simple. Okay, so do you remember that moment in style history, not one of our finest moments, when the Gap was really popular and your mom and all her friends were wearing khakis with a short-sleeved chambray button front shirt? It was almost embarrassing. I remember showing up for a homeschool field trip, and every one of the moms was wearing that uniform. But here was my version, making it a little bit my own. So my khakis were from the Gap or maybe Eddie Bauer, but they were kind of a light green color, about the color value of khaki, but more interesting. My chambray shirt, it was from, I think, Ross or TJ Maxx or somewhere like that. And it was fitted through the waist and had puffy 3/4 sleeves. And I wore both of those pieces with a vest from Goodwill that was dark red and had a slight greenish color in the paisley print. Thus, it was connected to the pants and it maintained my arc waist, which is important for an hourglass silhouette. And speaking of prints, introverted intuition is associated with all kinds of psychedelic phenomena, and intuition in general is more abstract. So the higher intuition is in your cognitive function stack, the more you probably lean toward abstract prints as opposed to realistic. And speaking of paisley, I always kind of thought I just liked paisleys, but there is a version of paisley that is very traditional, kind of shows up in Western prints and that type of thing. And the paisley that I like is really the more psychedelic kind of lots of bright colors and that type of thing. When I was in first grade, I remember my lunchbox. I would have liked a character lunchbox, but that wasn't in the budget. And I did like the one I had, which was a groovy psychedelic print. And I still love that stuff. I still love those 60s colors and all that stuff. So anyway, enough about me. What types use introverted intuition? It's the preferred function of all NJ types and SP types in the Myers-Briggs system. So if your type preferences are INTJ or INFJ, this is your dominant function. So embrace any of this stuff that feels comfortable to you, keeping in mind that you are an introvert. And so if you don't want anything too flashy, that's fine. That's completely understandable. So if your type preferences are ENTJ or ENFJ, this is your auxiliary function, and it's the one you might forget to communicate visually. It's a major part of your native genius, so communicating this through your look is important. As an EJ type, it's okay for you to do this in an in-charge way. All right, and in the third position, if your type preferences are ISTP and ISFP, this is your tertiary function, and it's a place of play. You may want to go full NI with your leisure wardrobe segment, or just inject some creative fun into your everyday looks. And then ESTP and ESFP, this is just a baby part of you, but you probably still want to show some individuality and probably don't. Yeah, I think that none of these types are probably best in really retro looks. All right, your homework. Play dress up. If you're one of the types here, try putting together some new and unexpected combinations and just see how you feel. The goal is for you to be able to look and feel like yourself. Thanks for being here for the Signature Style Systems podcast. And I'll meet you back again here real soon with a new topic. We're going to be talking about color.